Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you a fun new bundle in the annual catalog coming out on June 3rd. It's the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle that comes with this beautiful stamp set with these beautiful sunflowers and leaves and great sentiments with a wonderful font. And then it comes with the sunflower dies, and we're going to be stamping and we're going to be using the dies on this card. Now, I already made this card here, but I'm going to show you how just by making this card, you can actually make this card a whole different, it'll be landscape instead of portrait, but you're actually only doing the work of almost like one card. So let's get started here. So we're going to be using pumpkin pie. I wanted to pair the pumpkin pie, and I'm using on this card the crushed curry and pumpkin pie and garden green. So on this card, I want to make it a landscape. This one here was portrait, and this one I want to make into a landscape card. So another different take on this, but you're still only going to be doing kind of like the work of one card. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a garden green border that goes around the panel that we're going to put on the front. So of course I die cut my 3 leaves out of my garden green first, and I've got my 3 leaves ready, but we're going to need one for the inside. So I'm going to show you a quick way to get a lot of leaves done. If you use your Stamparatus and you put a piece of paper in there up into the corner, and then you ink up your leaf and then stamp it, take this piece out. Let's pretend this is connected. You go to your Big Shot, you die cut a perfect image, and you have this blank. Now this was a piece of scratch here, okay? You have this blank here. You put it up into the corner, and then you come back with a blank one. It's a lot easier to die cut a bunch of blanks than it is to sit there and fiddle with getting it perfectly around the stamped image. Then you come back and you pop in your green leaf that's just blank, and then you can just take your garden green ink and ink up your leaf and then close it down on that blank that you put into that negative space. Lift it up, and there you go. You've got your leaf. Now think about if you have like 20 of these to do, you just keep throwing in those and closing it and closing it and throwing them in, and you have got them done very quickly. So I'm going to grab my chamois here, which is not wet, so I'm just going to set this aside here. Now you can also do this when you're die cutting your sunflowers. Another really quick thing to do would be to put in the Big Shot put a piece of crushed curry or whatever you're doing your sunflower in. You can put that into your Stamparatus, stamp your flower, do a perfect die cut, then go do a bunch of blanks, pop them back in, and you're going to have perfect images done. So that is a real quick way to get a lot of die cuts done. So, okay, so we've got our card base, of course. All the colors, measurements, and products I use on this card will be on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com. Right underneath the YouTube description, you'll see a link. It says, visit my blog here. Press that link, you'll get additional photos and other little special tips I want to maybe write out for you to read, additional photos. And you'll also have on my blog, as well as the YouTube description, all the products I use. So this will be that border. Now, as you can see, if you look at these 2 cards, look at that, what I did. I just cut apart. I created something in the middle, and then I cut it apart. I saw a video that Jennifer McGuire did doing a similar technique, and I kind of adapted it to what I wanted to do on this card. So what I did is I took a piece of Very Vanilla, and I cut it to 8 inches by 5 inches. A little bit, different than measurements than you would do, but 8 inches by 5 inches, and then I scored it at 4 inches on the 8-inch side, and then I drew myself a line, and then I took this piece of paper, and I ran it through the Big Shot using the Pine Wood Planks embossing folder. So I put the embossing folder into the middle where I saw the pencil line, ran it through, pulled the embossing folder, turned it around, keeping the same sides. So you don't want to accidentally flip it. So you want to have the embossing on both sides there. Then I put the embossing folder again down to that halfway mark, rolled it through the Big Shot, and then I end up with a big 8-inch by 5-inch piece that's embossed with the pine wood planks. Now what we're going to do now is we are going to take our sunflowers, and we just need 2 of them, but we're going to take our green here, our garden green, and we're just going to stick it under here because this is going to let us know that we don't really want to go much farther than the green. So if you see on the card here, we're putting the sunflowers, but if we put these sunflowers too far apart, they could go off of the card. So what we're going to do is we want to just put that green down there so that when we're doing the sunflowers, we're going to put them right about halfway mark of where that pencil line is at the 4-inch mark. And that way we're not doing this and then it's going to go off the edge of the card. So if we keep it within the green, then that's going to work out just well. Just fine, just well. So I'm going to grab my snail here, which that one's empty. So I'm going to grab this one here, and we're just going to put our snail. While we still have snail, we're getting a new adhesive. I'm so excited about that. So I decided I like this like little crinkly part of the, so just like I said, it's not adhered there, but we're just going to keep it within the green there. And we're going to put the sunflower. And on this side, that's going to make one of the cards. I had these little petals that kind of folded over. So I want to have that on both cards. So I'm going to put this one. And I kind of want to cover up the vanilla. But I want to keep it still not too, maybe a scotch. Little tiny bit you can go off of the green. But you want to keep it on the certain... the plane of the card, because remember the card will be another 1/8 of an inch on each side of the green. So now we have these sunflowers made. So the next thing you're going to do is, because we know we put these at 4 inches, we're just going to come back with our paper trimmer and we're going to put our left edge, and I'm not going to put it up towards the top because I put my flower just a tiny bit off there. So I'm going to put my left edge at 4 because that's half of 8, and then I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm just going to cut. Let me see here, make sure I'm got there we go. I'm going to cut up, pull it back down, and cut down. So now I've got it cut exactly in 4 inches and 4 inches. So now I have 2 panels to work with here. This is going to give me 2 cards. So there you are, like taking the time to make 2 sunflowers and then make 6 leaves, but you're going to get 2 cards out of this. So what we're going to do is now, since we're making our portrait card, now if we were making our portrait card, if we're making our portrait card, we're going to be putting it this way. But since we're going to make this card here, or actually, we almost could make both of them, actually. Let's see about doing that. Yes, I think we can. Yes, except for I don't have all my leaves cut out, so we're gonna, look at that, I got wet on there. So what we're gonna do is put our garden green. Okay, I'm really confusing you. We are working on our landscape card, okay? So we're gonna put our garden green on as if we were putting it on just to make our 1/8 inch border the whole way around. So here we go. And this is killing me, guys, not to have those leaves cut out there. Totally, you know me and using my paper wisely. But there we go with our green on there. Now the next thing we do with the portrait card is we're going to leave that border going the whole way around the left and the right in this, what's the orientation, the bottom part towards me right now. But we're going to make this one go the whole way to the fold line of the card, okay? So we're going to just put our, And it just gives it a nice visual appeal, having just something different, even though, like, I could have put it right on there, but I just wanted something a little bit different. And then we're just going to put, actually, I'm going to turn it around this way. Like, sometimes the orientation, we know we want to have the equal amount of green on the top, bottom, and that side, but then it gives us a little idea of where we're going. There we go. It's right. Actually, I think that worked out wonderfully. I think I'm gonna, this darn orientation of the way you do a video. So let's look and see that we have the same amount of green on the top and the bottom. And I don't think I do right there. I think I was perfect and I shouldn't have pulled it apart. And then there we go. So we have that edge that's going to go on the portrait card. And we just want to pop some green leaves in there. Super simple. Is this just, I'm going to stick this one right in between the flowers here. Gives it a little bit of visual appeal there. And we're going to pop this one right at the top there and not going off, but it can go up a little bit above there. It actually gives it a cute little appeal there. And then we're going to put some adhesive on this one and put a green flower, a green leaf down here. You just have to kind of play around with them till they get in the right place for you. But you've got 3 different leaves coming down from your sunflower. And then I just used the sentiment in the stamp set. It's got great sentiments there. Congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. That actually isn't technically a congratulations card, but it could be just a thank you card, or you're just awesome card to somebody. But it also could be a congratulations for graduation or something. So we put that onto the next to the smallest layering oval, and I'll have the measurement of that oval for you. And then we're going to pop it on a piece of pumpkin pie. I thought the pumpkin pie really worked well with, and we're just going to pop that down there since this one's our landscape card. Okay, and so that is card number 1. Now, oh, we also want to, I'm going to grab a piece of Whisper White here to put on the inside here. And when I put this on the inside, I'm going to just put some adhesive in the 4 corners, not to give any lumpy bumpies, and on the inside of our card. And then we'll put that there. And then we're going to take one of our daisies. Oh my gosh, that's not a daisy. And we are going to, where are my scissors? I just had my big old scissors here. Okay, I guess we'll just have to use the snips. Where are my big old scissors? Oh, here they are. Let me grab them. Alrighty, so I'm just going to take this sunflower and just give it a cut right in half. Give it right in half, because of course this is going to be, one is going to be used on each card. So then we can take and put this sunflower right at the top of the inside of our Very Vanilla. And we're going to put one leaf right popping out of the bottom. So we've got a great visual appeal of our sunflowers on the top here and the top in here. And we've got a landscape card. Now, remember, we have only used, where's my other card? Okay, so here is the other one, and we're just going to do that same thing again, because remember, we had this piece left over. This is what we did. We just cut them apart. And so what we're going to do is we're going to adhere our green. Now this one, of course, is a portrait style card. And we're going to put our green and get an 1/8 of an inch border. This is 4 by 5 1/4, so we have an 1/8 of an inch the whole way around all 4 sides. And then we're going to take this other panel that we cut and put it onto the card the same way we did on the other side, but this time we're doing it into a portrait style card. So we just want to have, I'm going to turn it this way so that I can kind of gauge where the green, so that I have about the same amount, and we'll see if it's going to match over that way. Actually, it does in a great way. Okay, so you can see I have it flush with the left side here, and then we just have to pop in a few leaves. So let's see, let's put one up here at the top. I like to kind of cover up the vanilla that's popping through there. So you've got one there, but I don't like that little nubby there showing. So let me see here. Push it down a little further, and it's okay to go up to the edge of the orange. And then we'll put one more. Let's stick that in between. And then we need to put one down here. And like I said, I need one more leaf. So let's just pull out our Stamparatus and make that leaf. So here we go. And I never took this apart yet. As long as you leave this stamp on this acrylic plate with this template, you can make another leaf. So there's a lot of times I'll be looking around, where is my a stamp out of my stamp set, and realize, oh, I thought I was going to make 100 cards out of that. So I never moved the stuff in there. But as long as you leave it here and here, you can't save this piece, because if you save that piece, if you don't put this right in the same place, it does you no good. So just make sure you're using the same stamp in the same place that hasn't been removed, and you'll see you'll have another leaf made there. And this is a really quick way, and use your take your pick tool just to pull those little guys out of there. So there we go. And we have that next leaf, and we're just going to put that on the bottom. I can't wait to play around with the these beautiful feathery dies that actually can go on the outlines of those. So that's going to be another video coming up. But boy, this is a really versatile set. So notice I'm trying to cover up the very vanilla that's peeking through there. Yeah, just a preference there. Okay, and so I don't like that. Actually, maybe it's not so bad that the, let me see here. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Alrighty. And then, oh, I don't have another sentiment made, but you know what, it's good. So you're just going to put another sentiment right here so that it looks like this card. So all you have to do is pop that sentiment on. And these little doodads here are they were from the last Christmas catalog, last holiday catalog, and it was the Tall Tidings, and it was garden green and real red, and it just went perfect with the garden green on here. But they are retired, so you could come up with some other neat ways to embellish that, but I did love those garden green glitter enamel dots. So there we go. We made 2 different cards. Let me see here. Let's do that. So if you consider what we did, is we made 2 different cards by just doing just one set of work, but we got 2 cards out of it. And thank you to Jennifer McGuire for coming up with that idea. And so all I did was use an 8 by 5, and then I scored it at 4 inches, and I drew myself a pencil line, and then I just set my flowers up along that line, and I cut it at 4. But before I did that, to get the embossing on here, you could leave this plain, but I wanted some depth to the card. So I embossed each side, and I made sure that I had my embossing folder the same way each time. And then you just cut that in half, and you had two cards to make. And this one, like I said, you could actually make 2 of the same. You could make 2 of these cards, but I liked doing something different and doing 2 different cards. So I did one in the portrait and one in the landscape. Now another thing oh gosh, we didn't do the inside of this card here. So the inside, gosh, I got cards galore here. We are going to put our Very Vanilla on the inside, just like we did on the other one. Sorry, this is taking a little bit of time, but I'll tell you what, this stamp set is worth your time. It is such a great stamp set. And it's going to, there's just so many different things you can do with it. Like I said, that lacy outline die can go straight on that. Let me see, I got this little crooked here. There we go. Do you ever notice if you wear progressive lenses, things look a little wonky when you're looking through your glasses? So they're not like bifocals, but sometimes it's just like I'm seeing things. And we're just going to put this one on this part. Oh, and guess what? We need to throw in another little leaf. And why not just do it now? Okay, let's just do it now. Gives you another idea. Not an idea. Gives you another chance to see this really quick technique of getting a lot. I mean, this stamp positioning tool isn't just for making perfect stamped images. It's like very versatile. So there we go. And I'll pop that down here. And then I want to just pop this leaf on the inside. So had I not decided in the middle of my video to do this, I would just have already had a second one of those done. So you've got two different cards there you can make. So there you go. The Celebrate Sunflowers. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. What I wanted to show you is when I went to stamp this sunflower. So I stamped it and then I sat there and played with this die trying to get the perfect, because there's a lot of the same shape and it was really frustrating. So what I did is I stamped it and I put a piece of, not a piece, I took a little Sharpie and put it on one of the flower petals of the sunflower so that when I stamped it, now let's see here. Why don't I just do that? So when I stamped it, I'm going to stamp it here in the pumpkin pie just to show you how I made it a lot easier than for myself. But it would have been technically easier if I would have just did that Stamparatus technique. So I just stamped it, putting that mark on that flower because I know that once I get this placement here, I put a mark here. So as long as when I'm stamping it, I keep this mark towards the top of my paper or whichever way I put it, just remember that, but the best way to remember is to keep it at the top. So I put it at the top. Then I knew when I went to die cut it that the top would be where I have my mark here on my die. So every time I stamp it, I don't have to sit there and go like this and try to find it. So now I know, okay, stamp it with the dot up at the top, and then the die cut will fit right there with the dot on there. So that's a little trick to help you place that there. So I'm so glad that you spent a little time with me today. If you have any questions about this card, you can go to my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com, and I'll have pictures and all that kind of stuff for you. If you have any other questions, you can email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can always call me or text me at 724-323-2296. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.